Hello and welcome, beautiful, vibrant souls, to today's pick a card reading. Sorry, there's cat fur here. My cat must have been laying up here. I didn't realize that. But yeah, this is going to be a yes or no. So this reading is intended to help answer yes or no questions. I have tarot cards in each group to be the yes or no answer, with additional oracle cards for more information. And I do have the tarot deck nearby to grab any clarifying messages that we may or may not need for each group. So, hold your question in your mind, meditate, contemplate on the stacks in front of you. I want to just kind of go through your options really quickly. So we have group 1 here with the amethyst. We have group 2 with this peacock ore. We have group 3 with this, I don't know if it's green calcite or if it is green fluorite. I think it's green fluorite. I think I was accidentally calling it green calcite previously. I'm still learning crystals. Thank you guys for being really patient with me. Put it in the comments if you know which one it is, because I'm still learning. But that's group 3. We have group 4 with this bloodstone, made with real blood. Just kidding. And then we have group 5 with this. I think this is technically smoky quartz. I always think it's clear quartz, but it's actually smoky quartz. Smoky quartz. So yeah, these are options again: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hold your question in your mind, in your heart, in your third eye, baby. And once you have selected a group that you feel intuitively drawn to get your answer for your question, you can head down to the timestamps in the description box below. With that, I'm going to get started with group 1 before I accidentally botch any more communication. So let's get started. Let me just move stuff around. Yikes, this way and this way. Okay. Hi, group 1. Okay, so you picked this amethyst. See, the thing I always think about with this amethyst is that we have like the classic purple at the very like tip of it, and then it almost looks like clear quartz even though it's not. So this to me, and especially where it looks like it's pointing in a certain direction, this stone for me is always about following your intuition. And then things like, it's like that follow your intuition before it makes sense, right? And things become more clear. For some of you, I'm really drawn to the flat edge here, and it almost makes me think of a plateau. So for some of you, there's a situation where there may have been progress or movement forward, you feel called to go in a certain direction, and it's like maybe you've taken a step or two in that direction, and then things are kind of plateauing. And I feel like some of you are kind of like, is this going to happen? Is it not? Did I make the right move? There might still be like time to turn back, and you're kind of like, do I do that? And this is really saying like, follow your intuitive nudges. I definitely feel like for this group, this is more going to be kind of confirmation of some aspect that you are already aware of in this situation, whatever your answer might be. But I also feel like too, because we have again this like little flat side, and I'm like all the other sides are a little more roughly hewn, and I know there's words for these parts of the crystals and I don't know what they are, so please feel free to chime in. But this to me says like this is kind of a lull, and like try to like find peace in this rest period, because things are about to kind of pick up, but things are also more complex than they seem to be on the surface. So that's kind of what I'm just picking up intuitively. So I'm going to do your yes or no answer first. I encourage you to stick around to look at your oracle cards, because there's additional information that's going to be coming through about this yes or no. So we have, woof, okay. We have the Tower. So this would be a no. But I almost feel like this is more positive. It's really interesting because in this version, the lightning is hitting and the tower is bending like it's trying to be like, whoop, nope, don't hit me. Woo! So this might be something where, especially because we have 3 flames, very specifically 3 flames. And that makes me think of the 3 of Wands. This is something where it feels like you're waiting for movement. You're waiting for your ships to come in. And I almost feel like there's something where, because there is one person depicted here. Usually there's 2 people falling out of the tower, but it's very faint, right? And this person's in shadow. So there's something here where there needs to be some element of your shadow self needs to be brought up and shed in order to get you close to what you're trying to manifest. And this might be whatever you're asking about being a no. I feel like as part of that shedding process, or it's kind of like you already went through that shedding process, and whatever you're asking about would be like incurring more difficulty. So this is a no, but this is a no in your favor. Even if it doesn't seem like that right now, there are pieces to this that you may not be aware of. There are things that, and interestingly enough, in this version of the tower, we have the water here. Water is your intuitions and your emotions, your intuition and your emotions, because that's the plural one right there. Again, intuitively, because the water's like lapping up at the side of the tower, and that's not usually the case in this card. Intuitively, you know that something needs to shift, even if you don't know what, even if you don't know, what part of your life, where it's coming from, there is a shift that needs to take place. And so your team, I'm looking at the little like hatch marks that are the bricks here, and it looks like either an I or an H, so those letters might be important for you. But this is absolutely happening in your favor, right? And it might not be completely clear as to why or how yet, especially if you're in this period of time where this has already like kind of happened and you're like, am I heading in the right direction? Because, I took a leap toward XYZ and then this thing fell apart, right? And your team wants you to know, like, yep, we're helping you. We're trying to get you closer to what you want. Just like the energy I'm picking up on is like, sit tight, we've got you. So let's see what else you have. You have, time for a nap. This is time to try to rest as much as possible. We have card 16 that reduces to a 7. We have 24 that reduces to a 6. This might have to do with a spiritual connection, because 6 is the number of universal love and harmony and balance, and 7 is a very spiritual number for me. We have the fox imagery here, so that might be important, as well as the crescent moon depicted. So this is a time where whatever has fallen, whatever is falling, it's for the highest good for whatever you're asking for. But I do feel like there's a lot of shifts and changes. Again, with that plateau image, now is a really good time to take a break, to take a nap, to like literally take a nap, try to rest as much as possible, because things are shifting and changing for you in your favor. We have white, with lighten up, 24 and 24, so that's a significant number here, but that also reduces to a 6, so working with the color white might be very helpful. White also makes me think of the crown chakra. We have a feather here. You might have angels working with you right now, but your spiritual team is guiding you, right? Make no mistake about it. You are getting downloads, you are getting messages, and even if things in your reality don't feel very stable or don't look very stable, it does not mean that you're on the wrong path. And we have, blood moon. Oh my goodness. The blood moon occurs during a total lunar eclipse, when the earth is between the sun and the moon, and the earth's position causes the sun's light to appear with a reddish orange tint on the moon's surface. During this time, the moon's energy is extra intense and can bring opportunities for personal discovery and the manifestation of deeply held dreams and desires. Wow. So yeah, your answer is a no, but this is because I want to pull, I always do this where I'm like, I'm not going to pull extra cards, and then I do anyway. I want to pull what this thing is that got knocked down, or that's getting knocked down, that was in the way. We have the 4 of Pentacles reversed and the Temperance card reversed. Okay, so there's something here, especially because this is usually a card of healing, and the Tower is usually followed by the Star, which is also a card of healing. There's something here where it was an old pattern you've been holding on to, possibly a relationship, maybe with a Sagittarius, or you could be a Sagittarius, but this is something where it was getting in the way with a triangle, right? This is fire element, so manifestations. You were holding on to some old pattern that was not serving you. It needed to be healed. It was time for this to heal. And I feel like it's just been, again, we have that shadow element here. It's just been ingrained. This could be struggling with balance and moderation. This could be struggling to give yourself time to rest, like adequate time to rest. The 4 of Pentacles reversed suggests that, holding on to this thing, this pattern with like a death grip, but also struggling to let because this can be about having your walls up. Struggling to let other people in, struggling to let people help you, struggling to accept assistance or just accept even an opportunity to rest. And so this is why this has come in, because I do feel like there's something that you're trying to manifest. Yeah, the Hermit reverse. I feel like you might like to do things alone, or you might be kind of like, you might overly identify with being self-sufficient. And there's something here where your team is trying to help break some of that down, help like break up some of the heavy energy, the shadow, right? It's interesting, we have like light and shadow here. So this is falling apart in order for you to get what it is that you're trying to manifest in your most deeply held dreams and desires. So I think that's everything I have for group 1. I hope this has been helpful. If you need help with your specific situation, I do offer personal readings. I will be going on vacation later this week for the next 2 weeks, but you can always check it out, and I will be back in the shop beginning of September. But yeah, I think that's everything I've got. I am wishing you guys the best, brightest, most beautiful things that life has to offer. Love bugs. Take care, okay? All right, bye. Yeah. Hi, group 2. Okay. Whew, I just want to shake off the energy a little bit. This feels kind of playful, kind of silly with the peacock ore here. I feel like it's time for you to come out of your shell a little bit. It's time to play. It's time to put yourself out there. It's time to kind of just like shake off the dust, shake off the cobwebs. I just feel like I'm hearing in the trenches. So you guys may have been really like hard at work on something, whether, you know, in your career, in an important relationship, personally, spiritually. You guys have really done a lot of work and you've come really far, and this is a time to kind of just like shake it off. You know, have some time that feels restorative, replenishing, that feels fun for you, and let your like quirky, kooky sides, or let your authentic side just shine, whatever that looks like for you. So this is your yes or no answer. Regardless of what the answer is, I encourage you to stick around for the oracle cards, because we will be drawing more information about your yes or no that might help give you some further insight or clarity or confirmation. So we have, oh, okay, 7 of Pentacles. Excuse me. So this does look like a yes. Things might be taking a little bit. Things might take even a little bit longer than expected. You may have been kind of at this situation for the last like 7 months or so. But this is always nice, especially where it came out upright, because this is really suggesting that, you know, the seeds you have planted beneath the soil are sprouting and are about to kind of like burst on through, right? This is a card of assessment, and reversed, it would suggest, you know, what you've cultivated is not really going to come to fruition and you should cut your losses. But upright is saying, you know, give it a little bit more time. It's on its way. There might be, like I said, some delays, but you've been working very, very hard. I see that with the 7 of Pentacles. And I feel like this is kind of asking you to try to do something to change your energy, because whatever this is, it's growing on its own time. You've done everything you can do. You've done a lot of really hard work, both internally and externally, and now it's kind of just a time to wait. And in that time where you're waiting, this can be an excellent time to just like really focus on what makes you happy, what is restorative and replenishing to your energy. So let's get more information. We have, yeah, exactly, Between Worlds with card 3. I try to stack them all without, I'm really bad at this. We have a flamingo image here, and we also have a little teeny hummingbird. It's hard to see, but it is there. You guys are the only group that got 2 of these, by the way. So we have Fork in the Road with 13. That reduces to a 4. I am not surprised. We have Pre-shadow retrograde. Okay, the pre-shadow phase of the retrograde occurs in the days leading up to retrograde. In this cycle, you may feel the buildup to the actual retrograde prior to the station date when the planet appears to stop before beginning retrograde. This phase provides major clues and can already feel as though the planet itself is retrograde. For example, in the pre-shadow phase of a Venus retrograde, you could have, For example, the pre-shadow phase of a Venus retrograde could have you find an object or remember an ex in some way. During the actual retrograde cycle, they might make an appearance in your life. Wow, I'm having trouble talking even just reading this card, so there's an element of complexity here. And silver with be persistent. Okay, 27, that reduces to a 9. So obviously, please always take the path that is right for you, that feels right for you. But once again, card of assessment, fork in the road. We have the 13 here. This reminds me of the death card. You could be a Scorpio or dealing with a Scorpio. But this, I feel like, is a major shift for you. I love how he's got the little owl sitting on his butt. Your intuition is like your inner wisdom, your guides are helping you navigate the situation, even when it doesn't look like that, because he's looking over here and the owl's looking this way. And again, a little bird here too. So like this is kind of like your spiritual team is like guiding you, right? It's like a little birdie told me this. You are in this in-between phase right now in this situation, and a lot of you are going, do I keep going with it? Do I let it go? Especially where with pre-shadow retrograde, things may almost seem like they have slowed down even more, right? So this is a slow moving energy, and it may almost seem like, it was slow moving before, but I was seeing the needle move consistently. Sorry, I had a little hiccup. I was seeing the needle move consistently, and now it's not even moving at all. Excuse me. And for a lot of you, what I feel like your team wants you to know is, again, you've done everything you can do, and it's just a matter of waiting, right? With be persistent, this is, 27, that reduces to a 9. That means this cycle is wrapping up. It's closing up. You're in this in-between spot right now where you're about to have a new experience in whatever this is. But it is kind of taking some time. And I do feel like because it's like black and white here and then like ultra colorful here, and we have this peacock aura kind of energy, part of bringing in this manifestation into full fruition is going to be about, because hummingbirds can really be about being in the moment and enjoying the moment. A lot of this is going to be about like just living your most vibrant life, right? And what I mean by that is doing the things that are invigorating for you, doing the things that matter to you, that speak to you in the heart and soul. You've been hard at work. And for a lot of you, because I'm really drawn into the word Venus, I do feel like this is a relationship. Does not have to be. And Venus also deals with creativity, with art, business, finances. So this can cover a lot of different things, but this is something where you've done all the work already. And now there's just a matter of kind of waiting for things to fully blossom in your favor. And part of bringing that in, especially where we have this flamingo with a crown on, is just really about like being in your royal energy, right? Enjoying your life, doing the things that just like put that little pep in your step, and just letting yourself shine very authentically as you are. That's going to help kind of bring in this next phase that you've been trying to cultivate and manifest. So it looks like a yes. It is going to be a little bit longer than you might think or you might necessarily want, but in the meantime, really just like treat yourself, enjoy your life, right? Find enthusiasm and vigor in the life that you're leading. Don't put your happiness on the back burner for anything, but for something that will eventually, happen in the future you're waiting for. So go to that event, do that thing, spend that money on yourself, take a break when you need a break, spend time with the people that you love spending time with, and don't worry about this situation in the meantime, because this situation is like working itself out, right? They're showing me the image of like a baby gestating in the womb. Like it's growing on its own. That's it. Or like on its own time, right? We can't rush that. So yeah, this is a yes. I hope this has been helpful for you. I am wishing you guys the best, brightest, most beautiful things that life has to offer. And with that, I'm going to move on to group 3. Bye, guys. Hi, group 3. Okay, so you guys picked the green. It's either green calcite or it's green fluorite. I should know, but I don't. It's beautiful though. This is always such like a stone of serenity to me, and like I am just like instantly calmed looking at it. It also makes me think of the ocean. I'm seeing right now the image of people surfing. So some of you might like to surf. Some of you might love to be, in the ocean, near the water. You might live near the ocean or be traveling to a place where it's like right on the water. But there's something here, whenever I think of surfing, because I like to do it, I'm not good at it, but I like to do it very much. This is a time to connect with others, connect with nature, just really like connect with feeling at peace and at one with everything in the best way possible. It almost looks like a little heart. It's not. But this is, I feel like this is kind of the energy that you guys are either embodying or you're moving into. It's that like sense of universal love and oneness. So this is your yes or no answer. Whatever the answer might be, whether it's what you're hoping for or not, I encourage you to stick around a little bit longer because we do have oracle cards to do a deeper dive and give you further messages about your question. So we have, okay, the Eight of Cups. Interesting, with a little bit of water right there. So this is a no, but the reason why is because, you know, you see how he has the path right here, and there's, again, a little bit of water, but there's these huge-ass mountains. So water in the tarot is always indicative of our emotions and our intuition, and mountains always represent obstacles. I feel like whatever you're asking about, if you took this path or you went further on this path, because the Eight of Cups suggests there's already been an emotional investment of some kind, there's something where I feel like, so normally this is a card where you've already invested emotionally, right? And you end up having to walk away from what you've poured so much into because it's just not serving you anymore. You know, it's dead energy. But in this situation, because it's depicted with the path in front of them and all the obstacles and a little bit of water on the other side, I almost feel like this is something where you guys have invested a lot in this, especially because it follows the Seven of Cups in the fantasy of whatever this is. So whatever you're asking about, I feel like you have this idea in your mind of what it would be like, or you have, like, you're just really emotionally attached to it, but what you're emotionally attached to is not the reality of the situation, right? So, you know, maybe if this is a relationship, maybe, you know, you had really high hopes for it, or somebody told you, like, yeah, I'm looking for, you know, XYZ, and you're like, oh, good, me too. But that's not actually, like, if they told you, I'm looking for something committed, and they are not actually wanting that. So you think you're on the same page, but this person's not being authentic with you. If this is a job, I feel like you're like, it's like you're looking at that little bit of water. That's what you're focused on. And I feel like there's this long path ahead and these giant mountains. And there's something where, like, I feel like when you get emotionally attached to something, you'll do what it takes. Like, you're dedicated. And that's a beautiful thing. But there's something where your team, I feel like, is saying that this is a no, because it would almost be like too much. It would just not really be worth it by the time you got to that little bit of water. Because I feel like you're thinking about it like, if I get over these mountains, there's the whole ocean there, but there's not. There's just a little bit of water, if that makes sense. So this could be, you know, you develop something with a friend, a partner, a business partner, and they're kind of like emotionally unavailable. They're unable to like meet your needs. So there is a connection there. There's been investment there. There's a lot of hopes and dreams, but it's just not going to pan out in the way that would, what I'm hearing is the way that would honor you. So this is a no, but I do want to dig a little bit deeper, because I do feel like you're being encouraged. There's greater happiness for you elsewhere, and that's why I want to get more information. Yeah, okay, so we have breathe. This is 29, that reduces to an 11, which reduces to a 2. I feel like this is your energy, right? This is like, she's sitting on a lily pad in the middle of this beautiful cosmic pond. You're kind of vibing like this. Excuse me. Again, that, like, you know, spiritually balanced, universal love energy. You could identify as a light worker or a starseed. That's the energy you bring. And whatever this situation is, you may have attracted this into your life, possibly from a place of wounding, but also as a place of working with them, right? Sharing your wisdom, sharing your love, sharing your light with them. But there's something where I feel like this situation or person has met you as far as they can. And I feel like for you, it's kind of like, do I keep going? Because, you know, if they've come this far, but there's the potential for more. And what your team wants you to know is, this is kind of like, for this situation or this person, it's kind of like the end of the road for them. They can't really give you more. And you have a really high vibration. We have the light coming off her crown, right? You're very guided by spirit, and this is why, and again with all the lotuses, very enlightened. And you're just like you're just not a vibrational match for what you're asking for, because you have so much more to offer and thus deserve so much more in return. So we have first quarter. In this phase, the moon is 50% lit, 50% lit. With the sun illuminating its right side. The name first quarter comes from the fact that the moon is a quarter way through its Earth orbit. This phase brings growth and understanding to the lessons of the new moon, yes, and it can also test your commitment to those lessons. The first quarter moon is a perfect time to reassess your intentions and decide what parts of your plans need to be revised. Dude, people born in this phase are typically passionate and action-oriented. Okay, I'm gonna flip this in a minute, but yes. So this is something where it's talking about, you know, being like, having these kind of lessons, these insights with the new moon, right? You may have recently set intentions for, this is a timeless reading, by the time I'm filming, we just had the Leo new moon. And this could also talk about somebody from your past that's coming back, or that came back, and you're like, what do I do about this, right? Or if you're waiting for someone or something, you're waiting for an offer, you're waiting for a situation that you are emotionally invested in to get resolved. I feel like there's some element where you're wondering, you know, if you moved away from this already, it's like, did I make the right choice? Yes, absolutely. And if this situation is still lingering or comes back, it's like, I feel like some of you are going to be caught between, you know, is this coming back because this is meant for me? Excuse me. Or is this coming back as kind of like a test and I'm supposed to reroute around it? And, you know, again, please use your intuition. Lean on that more than anything else here. But for a lot of you who chose this pile, if that's the case, I do feel like you're being called to move away from your past, right? And this also could very well be you're starting something, like starting it over, but you're being, like any illusions around this are dispelled, right? We're in Neptune retrograde currently. Again, this is a timeless reading, but when I'm filming it. So this is a time where there may have been some pretty significant disillusioning about this situation, and you're just being encouraged to really access your wisdom, you know, and to take seriously the lessons that were just handed to you and your commitment to those lessons. So, you know, for example, if you just kind of had the realization recently, let's say this is like a potential romantic partner, when you're like, you know what, they're wishy-washy, hot and cold. I think I deserve somebody who knows what they want with me and is willing to take those steps to move forward. And you kind of, you know, either put up some boundaries, or, you know, you're just looking at it with more realistic expectations. If you guys straight up split up, this could be where this person comes back and you're going to be charged with the task of figuring out, do I want to move forward with them or not, right? And you're going to have to assess, you know, do you think that they can go the distance and scale those mountains? Do you think there's something more on the other side? And if so, how will you want to, like, how will you do it this time differently than the last time? Or how will they do it differently than the last time? So throughout this entire thing, I really feel like, too, it's really important to get centered and grounded, and connect with your intuition, connect with your wisdom before making any decisions, because you've learned a lot here and it's time to integrate and implement what you've learned, because I do feel like you are being called to a new experience, whether it's this situation like 2.0 revamped or whether it's something entirely different. So your final card, we have lemon with 23, that reduces to a 5. Access innovative thinking. Yeah, it's time for a fresh perspective here with the lemon kind of vibe, especially with it being yellow, that solar plexus chakra. So there's a lot more empowerment, a lot more confidence. It's time to have more confidence in your perception of things. It's time to have more confidence in your wisdom and your knowing, right? With that kind of, you know, that kind of time where it's talking about, a commitment to, or like your commitment to your lessons being tested. It's time to, like, I feel like you've gotten a fresh perspective, and what I'm hearing is like, don't waste it, or like take it seriously. So whatever choices you make, and I'm not saying if this comes back around, I'm not saying don't take that path, but make sure you're taking it with the lessons in mind that you have learned. Yeah. Because I feel like, again, you connect to this universal love frequency, you offer that, you bring that, and it's important to know that your light will always attract people in, but not everybody who's attracted to your light is meant to be in your life. And I know that took me a really long time to get, especially the more you ascend and the higher your vibration gets, people will just want to be around you. And I know for myself along my journey, I've definitely had moments where I was kind of like, oh, this has got to be destiny. This has got to be fate. And I just kind of thought like, oh, you know, I need to give this person a chance. I need to take this more seriously. Because I just assumed that if they were being dropped into my lap, figuratively or literally, life is weird, that it's something that the universe wanted me to take seriously and entertain. And once I kind of learned that, it helped me to be a little more discerning, because I'm like, okay, this will draw people in no matter what. So I have to use the lessons I've learned and the wisdom I have to really assess if this situation is going to be good for me and in what context and capacity. And this is kind of the energy I'm feeling here. So I hope that has been helpful, Group 3. I am wishing you guys the best, brightest, most beautiful things that life has to offer. And with that, I'm going to move on to Group 4. Bye, guys. Hi, Group 4. So you guys picked the bloodstone. This is a really grounding stone. I like it. It's pretty. This is a really grounding stone. This can help a lot for folks who are trying to kind of secure the bag, who are trying to work on their material abundance. This is really good for anyone who, is trying to make advances in their career, or, owns their own business, wants to open their own business. This is great. So I feel like for a lot of you, there might be questions about your career and finances kind of coming through. But just in general about feeling, I'm really noticing the little indentation. I know it's hard to see the little indentation here. So for some of you, there may have been kind of like a dent in this. Like you may have hit kind of a rough patch and you're asking questions about that. So I just wanted to acknowledge it. So this tarot card is going to be your yes or no answer. Regardless of what the answer is, I would encourage you to stick around for the oracle cards, because there will be significant additional information to help guide you further. So we have, judgment. Oh, spicy. Okay. So this is neither a yes or no. This is really where you are being encouraged to, so this is when you have to make a choice, right? And this is when you're making a choice. Your decision has the potential to have really long-term impacts. This is also about hearing your spiritual calling. This is a resurrection. And this is also, you're hitting a turning point in your life. You're at a turning point right now, right? And this is a time where you're called to do a life review. You're looking at where you've been, how it got you to where you are, where you are, where you want to go, and how to get there. And you're really being called to look at your patterns up until this point and really learn from them. Integrate that information into your soul's wisdom to serve you as you move forward. So let's get some oracle cards and see if we can tease this out more. We have, oh my goodness, the fates. Oh, ooh. With 17, that reduces to an 8. Okay. We have water with Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces make up the water signs. Intuitive, imaginative, and deeply connected to their emotions. These signs dive deep into their souls for spiritual discoveries. Water takes on the shape of its container, and for many water signs, it can be difficult to decide whether or not their container, a situation, a relationship, a place, is truly beneficial in the long run. Water signs are the natural healers of the zodiac, often dedicating their time to help save the world. And, wow, Pearl, connect to the divine. Shit. Okay, so that's a lot. This is 25. That reduces to a 7 in case that's important for you. Okay. For many of you, there's a situation that you're going through right now, and I do feel like it's challenging. This could be where you've lost a job, you've lost a home, a relationship has fallen apart, possibly that also caused you to have a location change. There's a container that's not serving you anymore, and I think that you've been made aware of this, or that's what you're coming into. This has taught you everything. What you've been doing has taught you everything it's going to teach you. If you've been with me for a minute and you've seen my channel before, whenever anything with pearls come up, I'm going to talk about it again. You've heard me talk about this, but excuse me. Pearls are, they do make me think of, pearls of wisdom. So it's our wisdom, it's our lessons, but it's our wisdom through repeated challenges. And the reason why is because the way that a pearl is formed is that an irritant, that's usually a grain of sand, but not always, will get inside the shell of a mollusk, and then it just irritates the crap out of its soft tissues. So the mollusk secretes this substance called nacre. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's spelled Nacre. it will secrete this substance, and this is this like iridescent kind of pearly substance, and it will just coat the irritant over and over and over and over and over again. And eventually you end up with this beautiful pearl. But so this is something that it does end up being a beautiful thing. It's a blessing. And with the pearls of wisdom, it's a lesson, it's understanding, it is that wisdom, but it comes from exposure to repeated challenge, right? Exposure to something difficult for a prolonged period of time. So this can look like, you know, a situation where you feel powerless, a job that you feel like you have to stick to because it pays the bills. This feels like, even though this is the Judgment card, this feels like a little bit of a Tower energy here. For some of you, if you were torn between this and group 1, there's a similar energy. You might want to go watch that as well for further information. But I'm really drawn into truly beneficial in the long run. There's something here that you're either being called to walk away from, or that has been taken out of your life for you. And the thing is, with all the hands here, I feel like you're going to have an opportunity, like you're going to be given the option about whether or not you want to resurrect this situation or move in a new direction. So if this is a relationship, this would be like your ex comes back around and wants to get back together. If this is a job, you could have the opportunity to apply to a job that's very, very similar to the one that you just came from. So like, let's say, you know, if you're not actually happy in your career field, but you do it because it pays the bills, because it's what you know how to do. Maybe it's what you got your degree in. You know, you may have lost the job at one company. You'd have the opportunity to apply for it at another, but your team is saying, hold up, there is a fated element here. There's something that, you know, yeah, with this like indent image we were talking about earlier, yep, you hit a stumbling block, you fell. They're showing me a little kid like trying to like run and like tripping and falling. Like you fell and you may have scraped a knee or two, and this is hard, right? And it's important. I feel like a lot of you right now are trying to connect to the divine, trying to kind of figure out like, why would this happen? A lot of you might be very, you know, emotionally attuned, might be very sensitive. And it's kind of like, why would this happen to me? Like I try to be a good person. I try to be loving. Why would this happen? And this is like the classic example of it's not happening to you as much as it's happening for you. And I know we all get really freaking irritated with that. But there are pearls here to be harvested. And there's something that needs a deeper dive. And for you guys, I'm actually it's interesting because group 1 is the only other group. Yeah, I cut the deck. The Hermit reversed and the Fool. There's some soul searching that needs to happen. We have Virgo energy here. I look at the Fool as Aries, but some people look at it like Aquarius. There's something here where there's a beautiful new beginning you're being invited to, right? The Judgment card's followed by the World, and that's the end of the major arcana, and then we start all over again with the Fool. But it requires some introspection. And the only other group so far that I felt called to pull the Chariot, Cancer's energy, reverse, that I felt called to pull extra cards for is group 1. So again, there might be a connection, but I want to kind of pull you, the Sun reversed. There's something where you weren't happy, love bug. And the Knight of Pentacles reversed, and the 5 of Wands reversed. So this is like power struggles, competition. Knight of Pentacles, Earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have Leo here. This is the slowest moving knight in the deck, but he does bring forward something beautiful and consistent. But when he's reversed, this is like you're investing into something, and it doesn't go anywhere. There's something here where I feel like there is potential. Maybe this used to bring you a lot of happiness and it doesn't anymore. This used to feel like the path and it doesn't anymore. But there's something where you've spent a long time with it, where you're very comfortable, you've invested a lot, and as a result, it's kind of like, I don't want to give up too early or let this go. And what your team wants to say is, like, you're being invited to re-examine this situation. Really think about what you've put into it, but also really think about what it's cost you, especially energetically with the fire energy here. Because there's something where I feel like energetically it really taxed you. You really put a lot into this. And I feel like you may have kind of just become used to it with this like container kind of imagery used on the water card. It's kind of like, oh, you know, it's fine. This is part of working in this career field. This is part of, you know, being in relationships or something where I feel like you've minimized. That's the word. I was like, what is the word? Where you minimized what you were giving up in order to pursue this situation. So you do have a choice, right? This is neither a yes nor a no, but it's saying before you make a choice, you know, before you get back into a relationship with this person, before you apply for another job in a field that you don't know if you want to be in, try to look at this like a blessing for you. This is like this is a natural delineation point. So you get to kind of decide, okay, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? What about, you know, where I've been was good and works for me now? Because I feel like for this group too, you might be, you know, with that Cancer energy we saw showing up, you might be prone to kind of like being sentimental or kind of holding on to things from the past, including past versions of who you used to be. And it's okay if you want to evolve. It's okay if you're a different person now than you were, you know, when you got your degree, when you took this first job, when you entered into this relationship, when you moved to this location. You are allowed to shift and change. So for a lot of you, you're really being encouraged to connect with your spiritual team in order to figure out what direction is right for you. So this is neither a yes nor no. I do want to kind of pull you a couple cards of advice. The Ace of Swords. And wow, the Seven of Cups reversed. Yeah. And the Four of Swords. Be in reflection. Take time to be in meditative moments. Even if you don't like to meditate, do something meditative. So this could be, you know, a walk in the woods. This could be, I like to color sometimes. Like that just chills me the hell out. Whatever it is that helps you get into this calm space, connect with your spiritual team, because there's something here where I feel like you're on the verge of a breakthrough. You're seeing things, you're seeing your options more clearly, or you're about to, and your team wants to help you come into awareness with that truth. So I think that's everything that I have for group 4. I hope this has been helpful, love bugs. I'm wishing you the best, brightest, most beautiful things that life has to offer. And with that, I'm going to move on to group 5. See ya. Bye. Okay. Hello, group 5. This has been a day of some spicy readings. So let's see what you have. I feel like yours is kind of positive. I feel like a zesty, fun sort of energy for you. There's something where I want to be like, so I don't know, I'm thinking about like a little like boat floating on the river. There's something where I feel like you're ready to go with the flow. You're kind of like coasting, riding the wave here. I feel like you guys are in a pretty good place actually, or if not, that's like kind of where you're headed. You're protected right now, and whatever you want, I feel like your intentions are being amplified and then protected, right? Your manifestations are protected. And I feel like intuitively you might know that. Again, because I'm just seeing like a little boat like floating down the river real quick. So you might be in a place where you're kind of accessing your go with the flow side, and that's chef's kiss. Sorry, I have a little stray hair tickling my nose. But yeah, so this is your yes or no answer. I would encourage you, regardless of the answer, to stick around because the Oracle cards will help give us some significant information. But we have, interesting, the Four of Cups. Okay, this is usually a no, but this feels very positive here. I'm going to flip your other cards in a moment, but immediately what I'm getting, I feel like deep down, because this person looks like they're meditating, deep down, you're getting a lot of offers. It feels like normally, you know, we look at this like the Three of Cups, like it's kind of clustered, but I'm almost looking at like you have had multiple offers, and I feel like you're waiting for just the right one, right? And so this reading might be confirmation to you where you're like, do I, you know, go on a date with that person? Do I take that job? Do I hang out with that friend more? Whatever this is, this feels like you're on the fence about it. And so I feel like a lot of you just needed confirmation to know like it's okay to turn down whatever is being offered to you. Because there's something where I feel like you're being encouraged to, it's like if it's not what you're like, hold out for what you want because you're on your way, like you're being protected. But this feels positive, which I don't usually feel off the Four of Cups. But let's get more information. Okay, we have Never Ending Story. That's 37. That reduces to a 10/1. I can already see where this is going. Wow, we have Pisces. Okay, sorry, group 4 had the water signs. So Pisces, Symbolized by the fish, Pisces are full of compassion and kindness. They are the most spiritually and psychically connected of all in the zodiac wheel. Approaching life from a space of faith and empathy. Yeah, absolutely. Going with the flow. Anyway. Intuitive, gentle, and selfless, they are humanitarians who feel tremendous pain for the world's problems, but they may not be great about communicating their own pain or needs. Represented by the planet Neptune, Pisces are powerfully connected to the sea and enjoy spending time in water. We're just talking about water. Okay. And, Cyan, build your confidence. This is 35, that reduces to an 8. So lots of watery energies here. Sorry, I'm trying to stack them so they look like this. Okay. So, I really like, first of all, we're talking about, go with the flow kind of energy. I feel like because there's water in the background here, I feel like this is something where you might be a Pisces, you might be dealing with a Pisces. You might just be a natural healer and very empathetic and easily connecting to others. And in the past, I feel like this has caused you some, excuse my burp, some challenges. And I feel like you're learning to put your emotions aside when it comes to deciding what you want to invest in emotionally, right? So this would be like if you've had friends in the past who are going through something hard, I feel like you're the kind of person that would drop everything, and you're very emotionally impacted by other people's energy. So it's I have to drop everything. I have to go help this person because this person on Never Ending Story looks exhausted, right? And I feel like you're kind of learning to balance out your own emotional needs with what is being offered of you, offered to you or asked of you. With Never Ending Story as well, she's got a little mirror here, and Pisces are known for being kind of the empaths, the mirrors of the zodiac. So you might identify as an empath, clairsentient, highly sensitive, but I feel like you take on the emotional energy of others, right? You end up being a mirror to others a lot. And this is what I feel like, because again, this person kind of looks like they're meditating. This is what I feel like you are learning to overcome, right? You've been building your confidence about your needs, your boundary setting, and there's something where it's you're learning to say no, especially also to the emotional energy of other people, right? You're more in your intuition, in your heart and soul, as opposed to up in your head, up in your emotions, or taking on the emotional energy of other people. And I feel like with Neptune being referenced here in the past, it may have been hard for you to kind of suss out where you end and other people begin. And thus, it's if people asked something of you, if people offered something of you, you may have had I've heard it called bad spiritual hygiene, which I just love that kind of that way of putting it. But you may have just really struggled to be aware of your energetic boundaries and then to put up stronger energetic boundaries to protect your own energy. And this is what I feel like you are overcoming, right? With Never Ending Story, it's interesting that it's a 37, so that's a 10 because that's an ending, right? And I always like that 10's also reduced to 1, so there's the implication that with every ending there's a new beginning. And I feel like you're in this transitional place where this phase of taking on other people's stuff as your own is over, it's done, it's ending, but you're also starting this new beginning of figuring out, gaining confidence with yourself, with your own emotions, your emotional boundaries. So for a lot of you, this is a no to an offer that's coming in. I'm going to pull about it in 2 seconds, but it feels very positive. So what is this thing that's being offered? I feel like this is someone from the past coming back. I want to look at this but not take it. Yeah, the Two of Swords, you have a decision to make about how you want to move forward. Okay, so we have the Fool reversed. And we have the Hierophant, okay, Taurus, and then I look at the Fool as Aries, but some people look at it like Aquarius. And the Five of Pentacles reversed at the bottom. So I feel like this is something where this could be, I want to pull one more, sorry. Just one more. The Ten of Swords reversed. Okay, this is a situation, there's a spiritual lesson in this. Yeah, and then the Two of Pentacles reversed. Okay, I'm going to keep that actually. And then the Queen of Cups at the bottom, but in reverse. There might have been a relationship in the past just because the Hierophant is a lot of commitment, a spiritual connection. There's a situation through which you've been learning spiritual lessons. And I feel like you're at this place, right, where you've already had this ending like we suggested, but this new beginning hasn't happened yet. And this is kind of that pivotal turning point where I don't want to say you're being tested, because I don't really like thinking about it like that, but your team is, we get offered opportunities from the universe when we're ready for something new. So the universe is like, okay, you have this thing that you've been doing, because so when we're transitioning into a new phase in our lives, we both are kind of moving away from the energy that we used to carry and moving into this new energy that we're embodying, right? So this is why we can attract things that are reminiscent of our past and then new things. And so it does look like we're being tested, but we're attracting both because we're still in transition. We don't just wake up one morning and our energy is just poof, different. Sometimes ostensibly, but that's not usually how it happens. So what's happening here is that I do feel like you're getting situations from your past that used to cause you stress, exhaustion, used to be very painful with the Ten of Swords. Because look at, she's naked and she's naked, which I didn't think about the boobs. I don't care if you keep your boobs out. It's okay. But nakedness always implies vulnerability, right? And I feel like you come to the table generally very vulnerable. You might feel like you're kind of like a raw nerve sometimes. And this has led to a lot of very painful experiences, particularly in interpersonal relationships of all kinds. You might be a spiritual teacher for others or have had a lot of spiritual learning experiences, and this is what you've been working through. So what I feel like this is saying is that for many of you, you're getting offers either of commitment. This could be a job offer. It seems very solid. But you're getting offers in general that are emotional in nature. And this is kind of asking you like, okay, do you want to pick experiences that are of the frequency you have embodied, or do you want to pick experiences that are leading you closer to the direction that you're trying to go in? And we all have to pick our own path. No shade, no shame either way. I always say this about karmic cycles or repeating cycles from the past. We got to do what we got to do until we don't have to do it anymore, right? But I do feel like you have finished this cycle and now you're kind of like moving on. And this was a cycle that with the Two of Pentacles reversed kept you out of balance, kept you struggling to build stability in your life, right? And this can be materially or in your material world, right? So this could be health choices that leave you feeling depleted and tired and sick, or these could be relationships where you're always bailing people out, and thus materially you're really struggling to have stability and security. Whatever this has caused you a lot of pain and has been very chaotic for you. And I feel like you've been really working hard on separating yourself from other people's emotions for sure, and not letting your own emotional attachment get in the way of you building happiness and stability for yourself. I also feel like for some of you, you're becoming comfortable with the fact that sometimes spiritual lessons, you can only help someone so much, right? There is merit to them having to sweat it out sometimes, not to be cruel, but if you're always doing the work for somebody, they're never going to actually learn it. We rob them of the opportunity to have those learning moments, that valuable inner discourse, right? So when you're always, trying to help people and springing into action, not only does this deplete you, but this could be stealing the opportunity from them to do the learning work so they can ascend past that cycle. And I feel like a lot of you guys are coming into, you're like really finely tuning and honing your healing abilities and learning how to work with your energy. So this is a no, but this is a very happy no. I feel like this is ultimately a positive no. Even if you're kind of struggling with it, even if it's like, oh, I'm bummed, like just know that this is, you're being encouraged to hold out for what you truly deserve, right? With the Fool reverse, there's a beautiful new beginning coming in. I kind of want to pull about it. The Six of Swords reverse. Okay, there's a lot of healing and peace. Yeah, after a period of grief and loss. There's also, with the Two of Cups kind of, and the Lovers at the bottom, there's a beautiful soul-aligned opportunity that is on its way to you. So don't lose hope, even when other things have been lost, right? We have these 3 cups that have been spilled over, but you just gotta wait for the right one, right? I was talking about this with a friend recently, and we're both single, and we're talking about like the dating pool, and I'm not like dating right now, but she is, and she's talking about it, and she's like, oh, the dating pool is awful, and I was like, oh man, I'm scared. And then I was like, you know what though? I don't need a dating pool. I just need one. And this kind of has this feeling of like, even if you are like, because I feel like some of you are afraid to pass up on whatever, you know, dating or otherwise, whatever this opportunity is, I feel like you're afraid to pass up on this offer because like, oh, I've already said no to this or this or this, or like, you know, it's kind of like this energy of like, if that's my path, I don't want to miss it. And like, you know, especially if this, I'm not going to find something like this again. And your team kind of wants you to know, like, you don't need a whole ocean of options. You don't need, you know, you don't need to entertain all that. You're just looking for the right one, right? Which is my long-winded and circuitous way of putting that. But anywho, so this is ultimately, you know, this is a no, but a very, very positive no. Something beautiful is coming in for you guys, and I'm very excited for you. So thank you so much for being here, Group 5. It has been an honor and a joy to get to read for you. I hope I get to again very soon. I am wishing you the best, brightest, most beautiful things that life has to offer. Take care. Bye.